Wow, that was almost simultaneous. Looks like we are live. We're checking. I know Brian is checking all the links to make sure that we're live everywhere. Welcome to the Hypnosis Hero podcast. You are looking at the captain. I am here to guide, get everybody on board, and then take us out of orbit. We are live we should be live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Looks like Instagram didn't come up, but that's okay. We'll figure that one out. That's a new one for us that we're looking to crack. We're live on TikTok. So if you are on any and or all of those platforms, welcome. Every platform is a little bit different, of course. If you are on TikTok, I will see the chat on through TikTok. So feel free to post questions there. I will ask our guest questions, or if you want to harass Brian, feel free. It's all good to me. If you are on LinkedIn, there is no chat that connects us. So when you post questions there, I may not see them until I go back and take a look at the episode. But do post questions. If you do have a question, please do. Because one of the things that we do after every episode is we do go back and review, take a look for interesting questions, things that people want to know. And if it's about our guest, we'll, of course, pass those directly over to our guest. If it's about us or something that we can answer, we will definitely do that. So I see a Hypno Pixie has joined us. That is good news because I know something about the Hypno Pixie and our guest tonight. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Let me go on my co-host, who looks like he is furiously trying to figure out which platforms we're actually live on. Mr. Brian Bay.
Hey, good morning or good evening. So
good morning, good evening, good night. It sounds like a movie.
All right, and we're done.
Yeah. So that was also by a Canadian. So
yeah. Let's see. Go to
how are we looking everywhere else? It said Instagram failed, but other than that, I think we should be live.
We're live on my feed on my Facebook page. The Hypnosis Hero one did not like.
Didn't like it. Okay, well, we will make note of that and give it another go next time.
I just posted the link to my page in the discussion, and then let's. All right.
Yep.
Let us check YouTube.
YouTube should be live. I saw no errors from YouTube, and I think I've got an email saying that we're live. So YouTube is actually been one of the more solid platforms, and I forgot to mention it because it's usually the one that is the most solid when it comes to posting all these wonderful live events and streaming live video. The other one that I really want to get into that I think we'll have to take a good serious look at is Discord and building up a Discord server between the two of us on the Hypnosis Hero podcast. I think that's going to be that one would prove to have an interesting clientele. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And not bad, just interesting because it is to get into Discord and that area. You're now into the gaming world. Really makes good, solid use of it, and so on and so forth. So, not that the adults can't figure it out, because I figured it out. So, but it is a different world. So,
yeah, I mean, we're gonna have the inmates running the asylum, but yeah, we'll get. Let me get our other. Yeah, so.
Other than that, everybody looks like they're up and running. I see people on YouTube. I see people on. I haven't seen anybody join Facebook yet, but that's okay. Facebook is one of those that people will pop on as they get notifications. We do have a couple of people here in TikTok land that are watching, and that is always appreciated on TikTok because I know of all the platforms, TikTok is the one that people have what I call short attention span theater. It's very easy and quick to just flip up and swipe up and go on to the next live feed. So anybody who sticks around, it is, of course, like I said, greatly appreciated. All right. What do we know about Brian this week?
Brian is doing relatively, let's see, we're going to look at the live chat. So, all right, I'm watching Facebook, 2 YouTubes, and our broadcasting platform. So, many hands making light work tonight. The sun decided to come out today. Then yesterday, or not yesterday, Sunday, the Seahawks got redemption over the New England Patriots. Not the game that we wanted to see. We would hope for a shutout, blowout type thing, but getting redemption, winning a Super Bowl against New England, and then to just add the cherry on top, we did it in San Francisco Stadium, and then we celebrated in their locker room in their house. F yeah.
One of the, and this has happened a few times for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the CFL. We won our second and third Grey Cups, both of them in Toronto. One of them against Winnipeg, which is a team that kind of flip-flopped back and forth between the East and the West Division. Because we have fewer teams, but it's especially nice when you go East, you beat the East, and then you can celebrate in their stadium. Just recently, of course, the Riders also won the Grey Cup, so both of us come from winning areas, which is not a bad thing.
We had a good week this week.
What's that?
I said we had a good week this week.
Yeah, it was a good week. Last week, of course, we were still traveling and getting what I'll say semi-recovered from the Performing Hypnosis Summit. Of course, last week we had Kevin Lapine on, who was awarded the Jim Kellner Award. And so big shout out and congratulations to Kevin. I know that there have been a number of media articles that have been released around that. So if you are a hypnotist out there and you want to promote the art and the science and craft of hypnosis, that you may want to just jump in and grab those articles and promote them on your own social media feed, because the one thing that I think Kevin really exemplifies this, being the longest running hypnotist on the Vegas Strip now, is that if the tide rises for one, it rises for all. We can make each other better, and we're not the competition for each other.
Yeah.
I think that was another thing that I really kind of took away from Kevin, is that, and he used Michael Brody as a good example. Mike, shout out to Michael, who's in Michigan. But Kevin, also being from Michigan, said, Michael's not my competition. If Michael does a good job of his shows, people will come and see my show when I'm there. And when I'm there, I can say, hey, if you need help, talk to Michael, because Michael can do X, Y, and Z, and he can, Michael benefits from it as well. Yeah. And that's the type of thing that at the Performing Hypnosis Summit, that's what we actively promote, is that, we're a community. Some people would say, well, you're branching out and you're going to be a group or just a segment. No, we're part of the hypnosis community. We have a little bit of a specialization. That's okay. That specialization lets us take a different path forward. And, again, just circling back to bring that back, the summit as a whole, we're just gathering feedback right now, but we're in planning mode already for next year. There'll be some big announcements coming up. So
yes,
again, stay tuned to social media, because once they drop, you're going to want to make sure that you're ready to go. And I know we're going to be asking for presenter applications in the next month. So start thinking about it. If you're out there and you're thinking, hey, you know, I've never presented before, or hey, I've got this thing that I'm doing that I think everybody else needs to know. You're the type
Well,
of people that we want.
we're going to be asking for presenters in probably the next couple of days. Um, I think it's just a matter of getting the website updated, and I think some of the back end uh, logistics on how the stuff gets directed and everything when things come in. Uh, but yes, we do have dates that have been secured.
That we can't say.
Yeah. Nope.
Throwing you away.
I'm just saying we have them secured. An announcement will be made, and that's being done deliberately. But I'm excited, and uh, I think before we jump into anything, I wanted to give a kind of a shout out to Catherine Hickland. Tomorrow is her birthday,
Oh, I
so
thought it was today.
I believe it's tomorrow.
Okay.
So February 11th, none of our business on the year, but she was just incredibly gracious with her support with the conference and everything. Very, very well respected and loved member of the performing hypnosis family, and so we're sending you some well wishes and everything, Catherine. We love you, miss you, and definitely can't wait to see you again next year. But Shawn, we got a pretty cool guest coming on tonight.
We do indeed. I've known of our guest for a while. We've crossed paths on TikTok a few times over the last couple of years, and I've kind of watched how things have progressed with him, and I have to say, it's always nice when I can say, oh yeah, it's somebody from Canada, except he's not quite from Canada. He's close. He is down east though right now, and we're gonna bring him on here. He is an internationally acclaimed clinical hypnotist. He is got over 25 years of experience. That's like longer than I've been a teacher. And more than 10,000 lives have been changed. He's known for his bold, straight talking approach to solving problems that others call impossible. From executives and military personnel to everyday people at their breaking point, his mission is clear. It is to prove that no one is beyond help. And I love that. No one is beyond help. His expertise has earned him top honors in Toronto and Ottawa, and a TEDx talk invitation, and he features on major media outlets including Fox, CBC, and the Huffington Post. He's the creator of the Straight Edge Protocol, helping adults break free from addictions in as little as 3 weeks. And as he puts it, I have a particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for your problems. I hope I was close on that. Welcome to the Hypnosis Hero podcast, Mr. Luke Michael Howard.
Luke, welcome.
All the screaming fans. Boom shakalaka. Let me talk to you. Aloha. Hey boys, how are you?
Was that aloha?
Aloha. Yeah, I'm trying to get all my lines today. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, hello, goodbye, thank you, I love you. It means about 101 different things in Hawaii.
Right. So it sounds like you've spent some time there.
No, but I've done a lot of study in Huna, the shamanistic art of Hawaii. Some people believe it's called by a different name. There's some controversy behind it, but forget all that. I've learned a lot of Huna stuff, which is really good for shamanistic healing, and I picked up some Hawaiian words here and there that I like to sprinkle in like magic dust.
I was going to say, if you start speaking pidgin, I'm going to have to lean on the very, very little bit of knowledge that my late father has imparted on me from his time over there. But
you need to be really careful if I start doing weird things like this with my hands and heavy breathing. That means I'm like summoning up different Hawaiian gods to do some serious shits.
No, I love it. Bring it. So
always.
No, that's so yeah. Well, welcome. I hope you're staying warm. You guys both got just absolutely hammered with that winter storm that decided to
Yeah.
grace us with our presence. And Becca, thank you for joining us this evening, all the way from England.
Yeah, our favorite UK representative.
There you go. Hello, Becca.
Don't tell Grant I said that.
Well, she's a representative. Grant is probably more on the ambassador level, but
There you go. That's why he's got the nice tie, the power tie.
yeah. So now, so Luke, where are you from? From Britain or Australia
Well,
or New Zealand?
My mum would say I'm from heaven.
Okay, fair.
But my girlfriend might say I'm from somewhere else. Or the other way around. Originally from London, England, not London, Ontario, the real London, England. And I moved over
where the history comes from.
Where the history comes from, the real London with a capital L. And I moved over.
I get it. It's okay.
You get it. You know what London, Ontario is like. And I moved over to Ottawa, which for people outside of Canada is the capital of Canada. Nobody outside of Canada thinks Ottawa is the capital. We all think, oh, it must be Toronto, because most people have heard of Toronto who are not in Canada. Oh, it must be Vancouver, because a lot of people have heard of Vancouver outside of Canada. Or the third and final choice is Montreal. Montreal must be the capital of Canada. This is what I thought, because I'd never come to Canada before I was 30. Then I learned.
Historically, it was at one point.
I know, right? But then I learned a place called Ottawa. I was there for like 7 years. Just they call it the place that fun forgot. And then I moved to Toronto, which is based on London, England, and New York City. And then we got Toronto, which is like an amalgamation of a both. And that's where I'm at now.
Well, so you were talking about the capital of Canada. You know, for anybody who's an Oilers fan, Edmonton is where both Jesus and Wayne Gretzky walked, and now Connor McDavid. But
there you go.
No, it's yeah. I've only been up to Surrey and ventured a little bit into Vancouver, but not like downtown. It was once we got to the part where it was a little too much Seattle with just the needles and rampant drug use. It was like, weather's coming in, we need to go home.
That's most of downtown Vancouver. So
oh yeah, and if you visit me like this time now and you walk around the downtown Toronto area, it's like bloody Walking Dead,
zombies and everything.
Like,
yeah,
literally, like you don't have to run that fast because they're fentanyled up. They are really slow, but they're literally like this, and you have it's like a video game.
You just have to run faster than one person.
Yeah, navigating through the needle parks. We've got these lovely, beautiful parks that they've developed, and within a couple of weeks, they're overtaken by the fentanyl people, and it's not that pleasant, unfortunately.
And it's sad. You almost kind of look at it as a humanitarian thing, going, how is it that any type of government or state or even provincial leadership thinks that that's okay to let people live that way? And it's whether you're Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, we would hope that we would find some common ground that in the end we all want everybody to be have some prosperity and enjoyment with their quality of their life. But with that end state, people have to be willing to put the work in to get there. And there's self accountability, self responsibility, making good choices, and life will punish you in its own way.
The one thing that I will say is, as we progress through our life, and I can say this because as a teacher, I see it in students.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to figure out how you want to live your life and what you want to do. And when people are sidetracked by addictions or traumas or other life situations.
Mhm.
I can say this 100% accurately. Every teacher that knows students that have kind of hit that wall or made that unfortunate choice, it breaks our heart. It really does.
Yeah.
And not that we want to dwell on this, but Luke, you've got a protocol that
Oh yeah,
we talked about,
the straight edge
the straight edge.
of dealing. Now, my whole thing is obviously it's talking about a teacher. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Right, we're familiar with that maxim out there. So it's like any change work, whether that be of addiction, and for me, everything is a form of addiction. Whether that's addicted to fentanyl, cocaine, cigarettes, sex, ex-toxic partner, social media, video games, food, our own OCD thoughts, our own post-traumatic stress disorder, our own complex post-traumatic stress disorder. For me, they're all forms of addiction, but not all addictions are created the same. So, like when I work with anyone, someone has to be willing to kind of basically knock on the door or hold up their hand and be like, I don't know how you're going to help me, Luke. I
Mhm.
can't help myself, but I need some help and I'm ready to do whatever it takes as long as it's not fattening
Mhm.
to do the work. And that's all I need. When I work with someone, I don't care how smart they are or how dumb they are, they've just got to be coachable. The number one quality I look for any client, doesn't matter how much money they've got or whatever, is are they coachable? Meaning, if I say, take a deep breath and close your eyes, they do indeed take a deep breath and they close their eyes. They're not doing this. Because
Yeah.
when they do that to me, I just poke them in the eyes, and they still close their eyes. Anyways, it's a bit difficult to do that over Zoom, but
Right.
but people have to be coachable. So yeah, it's the number one skill. But when someone's coachable, I don't care if it's heroin, I don't care if it's crystal meth, I don't care if it's food, whatever the issue is. If
Mhm.
they are coachable, and they're like, I don't know how this is going to work, Luke, but I'm ready to do whatever it takes, as long as it's safe, ethical, non-fattening. Then we're off to the races at that point. So yeah, when I first got involved in Changeworks 26, 27 years ago, everyone said, deal with this. The money's to be made with the cigarette smokers. In
Mhm.
fact, there was this team of people called the practice builders, and they would take you from zero to hero in 4 days. It cost £5,000. So that's about 10,000 US dollars. So
Oh wow. Yeah, with the exchange rate.
inflation machine over the last 26 years. That's probably what, nearly 15 grand, I'm guessing, or more. But
Right.
you'd have no skills in hypnosis. You get 2 days of training, scriptnosis, and you'd
Right.
get 2 days of marketing training. Internet wasn't so big in 2000 in the England. So
Mhm.
a lot of the marketing was take half page ads in local 3 newspapers, which looked like an advertorial, and people were killing it. But it oversubscribed the community in such a short amount of time. We got 400 stop smoking specialist hypnotists within the first
Oh,
year.
you get the local area just oversaturated with, how long have you been doing this? I've been doing this since breakfast. So, I'm going
Yeah,
to solve your problems. And it's like, no, I'm not saying that you can't. It's just because you can doesn't always mean that you should. Uh, ask me how I know, but it's it's kind of crazy where, in some ways, fake it till you make it. Yeah. Fake the confidence, face your fears, get on stage, go, work out your entertainment stuff. But when it comes to, you know, being responsible in a even a slight way on someone's well-being and their safety, make sure you get proper training and you know have that ongoing education.
for sure. I did that for a while, and I got really good at just doing that for like 10 years. That's all I did, day in and day out. Was 10 smokers a day. What's that, 50 a week approximately, for 10 years. So I got really good at helping people that genuinely wanted to
Mhm.
quit smoking. They just didn't know how. And then I realized, oh, there's other stuff I could do as well. So I got seduced by the sexy stuff, the forbidden fruit, the things that people said don't touch. And what do they say in entertainment? Don't work. Kids don't work with animals. So I work with kids in hypnosis. Work with animals to a degree, I guess, with my cats and what have you. But working with stuff that people said stay away from, like the heavy drugs. And here's the weird thing, right? Everyone that meets me, they hear this accent, they see this beard, they see these 70 beautiful tattoos, they see the piercings. They're like, this guy must lead a rock and roll lifestyle. This guy must have done every drug on the planet. I'm straight edge. I haven't done any drugs. I've barely drank in my whole life. My first tattoo was my ex's, if you can see that. So people are like, well, how can you help all these people? You have to have gone through the trauma of over drugging, over drinking. I'm like, well, that's a bit stupid. That's a bit like saying you've got cancer that needs to be cut out of you. So me as your surgeon, that means I must have gone through cancer and cut it out of my own brain in order to be successful in helping you. No, I just have to have studied, had to have worked with a lot of people far smarter than me and refined a process that works. But I've drank less than 5 times before the age of 20 in my whole life. Haven't done any drugs or anything. Smoked 1 cigar once. That was a story. Nearly burnt down my whole apartment. Why do you think I'm in Toronto and not London, England? The real London, pullback humour right now. Yeah. But no, these people that did addiction chose me. I didn't go out there and spin the globe of problems and then just stop on addiction.
Right. You spun the wheel of here's what I'm going to be able to do.
They just reached out to me, and I don't know why, because there wasn't even anything on my bloody website, really, about other addiction other than cigarettes. But they reached out to me, and I think it was the Hypnopixie that said to me, oh, this might be an area for you. We're all told to niche, right? So I'm like, oh, they're finding me. They chose me, like my cat, Lexi. She chose me. So I was like, all right, they chose me. Let's do something. Let's run with it. And I work with everything, but the thing that most people will know is addiction.
So I've got a question. And you kind of touched on the whole, people chose me. And I like that because they reached out. They're obviously in kind of that mindset of, okay, I trust you. I believe that you can help me. So you're already halfway there. And going back to what you were saying about, oh, well, I don't have to have had cancer or struggled with addiction to, understand how to deal with it or how it affects the mind. How many people that you work with, would you say percentage wise, what they're really looking for is somebody to emulate, someone in a leadership role to go, okay, this is actually how you can lead a successful life. This is how you can be sober. You don't need all this stuff to just go take you off to another planet. It's just not necessary because they're like, I've never been taught that way. I got hit with this addiction. It got a hold of me and I need that. Help me chart that path, plot that azimuth to get out of it and break free.
Yeah. So as an example, without giving away any names, I've got a client at the moment, great guy and a very smart guy. And he's broken up with his long-term girlfriend and he feels that in order to feel comfortable interacting with women, that he himself needs to do weed. And he's okay with it, but he wants to quit weed. He's like, but I feel far more comfortable interacting with the opposite sex when I do weed. I'm like, I've never done drugs in my whole life. I know a bunch of people that haven't done it and were able to get beautiful connections, even when there was nothing else there, when they learn a certain skill to be able to talk to people and make them feel comfortable and connected. And none of that had anything to do with late nights, alcohol, or drugs. It just getting through the sound. I have this catchphrase that I got from a guy called Eric Bischoff that ran World Championship Wrestling. He was the president. And he said, in life, and I don't think it was original to him, this quote, but you can be more than, you can be less than, or you can be different than. Being more than, more handsome, more rich, more successful, that's great. but we can't always be more than. There's always going to be someone richer than us, a better hypnotist, more successful, sexier than us, have a nicer car than us, a nicer apartment, right? We can't always get more than.
What's the saying? If you always continue to compare yourself to other people, you'll always lose because there's someone who's always better.
Always, yeah. You only lose 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So more than, it'd be great if we could be more than, but even if we're Leonardo DiCaprio, there's better looking people, better actors. It's almost impossible. We certainly don't want to be less than the worst hypnotist. You're the cheapest hypnotist in town. You're one of the least successful. You have the least amount of money, the least amount of happiness, the smallest home, the least amount of friends. We certainly don't want to be there. But the thing that I chose was I could always be different than. Right? I can't be always more than. I certainly don't want to be less than, but I can be different than. So this is what I applied in my own life. Most other hypnotists would speak softly. They would wear the suits. And when we were doing it in the same environment, they would touch people gently. No, I speak fast. I use colorful language, and if someone's fucking around, I tell them, not because I'm trying to be a dick, but because I'm trying to break that model, that mollycoddle that they've had in their whole life of people saying, there, everything's going to be okay. Well, no, everything ain't always going to be okay.
And if you do drop, that colorful language, that F-bomb that's the utility word, it kind of breaks that OODA loop that they have. They go, wait, hold on, what? And then you're like, and relax. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, we don't need to worry about what he just said. Just follow directions. And
do you know how I know when I've got a client? Is when I'll gently in the screening call start to sprinkle some swears in there. As soon as they start swearing back on the screening call, I've got them. Not only do they know, like, and trust me, they're like, this guy's speaking the way that we speak to ourselves inside our head. I buy into him rather than a person who's just cotton wool, softly, which does work for some people, and some people need that. That ain't me.
In that moment when they start speaking like you and using the swear words and stuff like that, it's almost like there's that you kind of, not that you drop down, but it's sort of like they come up to your level where there's an element of they kind of feel like a peer, like, hey, this is my buddy who's going to help me. We've now become friends. There's rapport that's established, and now they're more not suggestible, but more susceptible to open up and follow those directions. Is that about accurate?
And we know that, and I think it's the reptilian part of the brain. When people undergo, even why Tourette's happens the way that it does, is suddenly someone can't get a word out, but they can get out a strong stream of swear words with no stuttering at all. It's because that part of the brain isn't affected in Tourette's. If they were speaking sentences of swear and cuss words, they could recite Shakespeare. It'd be a lot more entertaining.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that part of the brain isn't effective. Isn't affected. It's very primal. It's very there. And I think in today's society, much of us, we don't want to offend anyone, and we're tiptoeing around the field.
But their brain is like, finally, I can let this out, and I don't have to worry about, like, oh God, this guy's got a PhD, super educated and smarter than me. It's like, hey, here's somebody who gets me. All right, cool. This is going to be awesome.
I tell my clients, listen, if you want to bang, because I do a 1 hour screening call with someone, and they filled out a questionnaire. So if I take them on as a client, I know if I can work with them. I know what the issue is. And I say to my clients, if I need to know anything else, I'm a big boy, I'll ask you. But as it goes now, this isn't going to be a bloody therapy session. I am going to be doing 85% of the talking here. The other 15% is going to be your unconscious mind. With love and respect, I don't give a fuck what your conscious mind has to say now. Because how long you had the problem? 10 years. How long you been trying to fix it? 9 years. How's that working out for you? It's not working. But with love and respect, I don't give a fuck. But I do give a fuck about that unconscious, that subconscious mind.
You don't care about what's not working. You're like, all right, cool. You're here now. Roll up your sleeves, buckle up, cupcake. Let's roll.
And when people kind of go into this wanting, a lot of people want insights, right? We've heard that. Oh, I want to know why I've got the problem, and that's a red
It
flag
doesn't
to me.
matter.
It doesn't, as The Rock would say, it doesn't matter why you have the problem. Most people I work with are not dumb, right? 90% of them know why they've got the problem, yet they still have the problem. Here's how you got the problem. You were born and you lived a life and you had parents and you had relationships and you had jobs, and some worked out for you and some didn't. That's why you have the problem. Now that
But
we know that, we don't need to talk about that. We need to start changing your behavior, because that's the thing that's keeping you trapped in this suffering right now. So
it,
if you want to,
it's like you probably kept praying, to your deity, your spiritual power and everything like that, going, please give me strength and courage and this, that, and the other. And it's like, all right, cool. Well, I didn't just sprinkle the magic courage dust on there because someone might have snorted it up their nose. But what's happening is the universe is going, all right, we're giving you opportunities to be courageous. We're giving you opportunities to overcome adversity, little microdose adversity. And yeah, I think it's, and I've quoted the SEAL Team 6 guy, Rob O'Neill. He goes, it doesn't matter what's fair or not fair. Like when bullets are flying and, crisis is all in front of you, or the challenges, it's like the situation just is. We don't have time to dissect it and go, how did we get here? Whose fault is it? It's like, we need to deal with this problem now. Once we've got this problem solved, then we can go back and go, all right, how did we get here? How do we prevent that from happening again?
So a little question I ask my clients when I know that someone's stuck in their area,
Mhm.
I'll say to them hypothetically, and this is not real, but this is just a hypothetical question. If I could offer you that when we're done, you would never have that problem at all, whatever it is, you're biting your nails. You would not bite your nails, which is your presenting problem, but you'd have no earthly idea as to why you bit your nails. You just wouldn't do it. Or at the end of our work, you were still biting your nails, but you knew absolutely unequivocally why you were doing it. Which one would you choose? It's a no-brainer for me. It's like, I don't give a fuck why I do it. I just want to stop doing it. But
Yeah.
some people truly say, well, no, I keep doing it. If I knew why I did it, and that's a huge red flag, that if that's dropped and I can't reframe it artfully with some language there, I know this is not going to be a good match. They ain't
Mhm.
anywhere close to anybody.
Let me introduce you to my friend.
There you go. And I find a hypnotist that I hate, and I send them to him. He does
No
it
good
for me
deed
as
goes
well,
unpunished.
like Toronto. Yeah, he sends me difficult people.
So Becca's got a question.
Yeah,
She says, do you do stage or just hypnotherapy only?
I do them both.
Okay.
My day job is a hypnotherapist, and my night job is a stage hypnotist, and I do some mentalism as well. So I do them both.
Oh, nice. And
Yeah,
then
I
I think
started. Yeah, sorry.
it's super early in the morning. Becca says she might have missed when you were talking about how long you've been doing hypnosis for, but
Yeah, hey, it's not a problem.
touch base on that.
I've been doing this 26 years now. This has been pretty much my only job.
Let's say you barely look a day over 35.
Oh, thank you. All that Botox, right?
I know. That's
It's because I draw on my beard with the Sharpie, so it makes me look like I've got a chin. I just draw it on.
you just color it in and everything. Yeah,
It doesn't even exist. I got the Sharpie here, and that's why it's so perfect.
No, that's awesome. And so kind of take me through how you ended up from London to Toronto. Was there just I wanted a change of pace, family, work opportunity, something that you couldn't, someone made you an offer you couldn't refuse?
Yes. Don Corleone. Corleone, that's it, isn't it?
Corleone, yeah.
Corleone, thank you. So, 2009. We're now 2026.
Yeah.
I'm in London, England. I'm getting a few months away from being 30, and I met this girl, and she did gelnosis on me. And
yeah.
she's like, oh, we fell in love. And she's like, well, I'm going back home. I'm like, well, where's home? She's like, Canada. I'm like, oh, great. Like, it's like America, but not so cool. I'm just kidding. I love
Right.
America. I live in Canada. I'm allowed to say
Hey,
this stuff.
Brian's used to it. We
I
often
know.
will banter back and forth about what's better about Canada or the
Oh,
US.
we're going to come in with the poutine and the metric system.
There you go.
Yes.
So you fell in love.
Yeah, fell in love, and she's like, well, I'm going back. And I did this joke earlier, so I'll brush past it now. She's like, well, she's like, I live in the capital of Canada. Well, where's that? Montreal? No. Where's that? Vancouver? No. Where's that? Toronto? No. So what's the capital? Ottawa. Never heard of Ottawa. Never
Right.
been to Canada. So I had no job, no friends, no contact, no nothing. Move over to Ottawa and started to build up more of a career. Hypnosis was there, but I was trying to get my first real job in Canada, and there wasn't a lot of hypnosis clinics that were hiring people. It was far easier to get a job as being a personal trainer, which was the only other career that I had that was kind of concurrent with what was going on with hypnosis. So I got a job continuing to do some fitness training, and we were together for about 3 years. We broke up.
Mhm.
So then I didn't take time to make friendships in that time because much of the friendships were linked to her social circle and her family. So then I had a real dilemma. And this was a real situation where I said, I could go back home and to England, to London, the real London, the cool one, right?
Mhm.
And I'd feel like a huge, humongous fucking failure.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that. Number two, I top myself
Right.
for American and Canadian events. I killed myself. That was very real. That was a very real thing for me. The third option may have been the scariest option, and that was all of this emotion, all of this stuff, as Rocky Balboa said, is in the basement, that's in there, that I've been suppressing for years to go out there as a hypnotist, to help people change their life, to roll the dice with it and see what happens. So I took all of that pain and I built up the hypnosis business from there. And then I moved from Ottawa to Toronto about 10 years ago. It was a great move to come to Toronto, the big city, and just things got more and more successful. So that's the short version of the story. Girlnosis. Don't trust Canadian girls.
No, that's and I guess coming over from London, because Canada is still part of the monarchy, correct?
Yeah.
So the immigration, if you will, fairly seamless, or was Canada like, why are you here?
Yeah, no, it wasn't seamless, but I later found out that I could have done things earlier without boring people. You can get a PR, which is permanent resident, which allows you to have the medical care, dental care, all the good stuff that we want. The only thing I can't do is vote. And, I'm not really a voting guy anyways. I vote none of the above. If I was a citizen, it would cost me about $5,000.
Yeah.
And the only benefit I'd get over being a permanent resident is I could vote. So yeah, I stayed a permanent resident, but I could have. It cost a little bit of money, but nowhere near $5,000. And I realized later on I could have applied for it when I was in England, so I would have got the permanent residence a lot quicker because it took a couple of years of me being in Canada before I got it.
Yeah.
No, that's
But
awesome.
every time I go from America, we drive over the border. If I got a show in Buffalo or something, I still get called into the office because my passport is British. My girlfriend is Canadian. She's fine, but because I'm British, I have to go in there. It's like, oh, have you got your PR card? And it's this whole
You're like, it's all right here.
thing. Here it is. It's okay. I've done this before, and I learned this little hack. If you're ever dealing with border security, whether that be on land or at the airport.
Yeah.
If you just tell them you're going to see somebody very cool, like oftentimes I'll go to a Comic-Con to see a Hulk Hogan or a John Cena, and it's real. Like, what? So, how long are you in Chicago for? Only 2 days. What's your purpose for coming? I'm meeting John Cena. You can't see me. What? I'm meeting John Cena. Yeah, we know John. You're meeting John Cena, and they
all of a sudden they're like, we're fanboys.
Yeah, they went from being so serious, stoic, real arses to being like. To melt into being like that child, like in them, like, and they're trying to
like you get to go do that.
Yeah. It's the same thing, as a hypnotist. it's like, oh, you're a hypnotist, and right away it's like they totally forget what the next question is they were going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Staring to the camera, click, okay, goodbye, get out of here, and
These
welcome
are
to
not
the
the
United
droids you're
States.
looking for.
Yeah, the best thing is to get the border security when you're driving through to come out from the glass with their guns and hypnotizing them. That's quite cool.
And that's how Brian started the international incident between.
You're a hypnotist? Oh, does it work? Can you do it? Yeah. Can you like step out? Because yeah,
I don't know if I would be lynched by all the cars behind me that are waiting in line.
Here's what I do. I'm like, could you just like radio to all of your colleagues that may be watching this or in another room that nothing, well, it is a bit weird, but you're consenting to this. Nothing untoward is happening. It's just a little bit of fun. So they don't taser me or shoot me, please.
So quick side quest here. We're at the Performing Hypnosis Summit. So Becky's with us. Now, Becky is like 3.5 feet tall. We would go to dinner. How many people? We've got 4.5 people. And so we're in kind of the sports bar that's closed, but we're just sitting in the area and we're just kind of chit-chatting. It's late at night. And somebody asked Grant to do demonstrate. I think Becky or somebody had a question about an induction, and Grant goes, "Oh, you do this and the arm up and here, look, and touch on the head," and lays her down on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I turned around and it was like 3 security people from the hotel materialized going, "Is she okay? Is she having a medical emergency?" And I'm like, nope. He's just doing a hypnosis induction demonstration thing. Like, and then they're like, "How old is she?" I'm like, "She is very much above the age of 21." And so, we're in trouble, Shawn.
No, you're in trouble, Brian.
But we collectively
don't include me in this. I know how tall Becky is.
Oh, so somehow now Shawn wants to secede from the union. I get it.
No. You see, and this is then now this is where we get the history lesson. Is that there weren't 13 colonies, there were 16 colonies. Some of
no
us
51st state for you.
Some of us chose to stay, and because we knew that at some point we would need to be the intermediary between England and the United States. There needed to be a buffer,
right?
So
it was really just kind of funny. But yeah, I've been through the up in Blaine. We've got the Peace Arch crossing, which is kind of a sight to see in of itself. Beautiful park, and then it splits everything. And so one time we went up there for a Masonic event, and
that's where you sacrifice the young children, right?
No, not as far as you know. But
I think that's in files. We're probably on the list now, by the way.
Yeah, well, I can't get on an airplane anymore.
Why do you think I'm in Canada? Anyways,
so we go up, we cross through, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna hit the duty free. We're gonna go buy a nice bottle of scotch, bring it to the lodge that we're having dinner at, and everything. And so as we go through, they're like, "What's your license plate?" Okay, here we are, and then we're coming out of the parking lot. I'm like, "Oh shit, we're in the return line to go back to the United States." So we got to go back to the States or go through their line and go, "We just went through Canada like 20 minutes ago and we need to turn around because we went to the wrong duty free. We pulled into the wrong parking lot." And then we circle back around and the guy's like, "You were just here like half an hour ago." We're like, "Yeah, we showed him the receipt that's time stamped and everything." And the guy's just like, "Stupid Americans, come on through."
We said that a lot up here.
There you go. You got off lights. I hear that's like a hanging offence or a offence.
What's crazy is when you're going into Canada, they're like, "Hey, what's the purpose of your visit? Any firearms, weapons, any mass destruction, any of that stuff?" And like, "Nope." When are you guys coming back? "Oh, we're just overnight or day trip or something." "Okay, cool." You come back for me to get repatriated back into the United States, all these RF bomb sensors and anti-terrorism stuff, and I'm like sitting in the line going, parts of me are starting to glow. It's getting warm.
Yeah.
This is how I got. Are you bringing anything back from Canada? I'm not sure about this radiation cancer stuff that I'm getting,
Yeah.
but no, it's actually going across the border is really not too bad, and it's really interesting because it's kind of just a different lifestyle up there.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And when you get into the interior of Canada, it becomes a whole different lifestyle again.
I hear it's cold.
Well, we joked about it at the summit, Forming Hypnosis Summit, that when I left Saskatchewan, it was minus 52 with the wind chill. It was, I think the actual air temperature was like minus 48 or something like that. Like it was cold, and I remember getting on the plane, packing. I packed my jacket into the big suitcase and sent it away, thinking, okay, if I have to get stopped in Calgary, it is going to be too cold. I'm going to have to, Uber it over to some place where I can get a nice warm jacket, because it probably won't get my luggage back. So,
yeah, I God, that I don't know, it's like Chat GPT. This thing, I'll pay no attention to Scott.
When the part started to glow, Brian was really glad he could see,
dyslexia came in that one.
Yeah.
Could stuff see it? I'm like,
Yeah. And Becca has outed herself. She is 4'10". I was gonna guess 4'10.5", but then heels can throw that off a little bit too. So,
what is the line between being a small person and an average? Is it 4'10" or 4'9"? Anything less, you're a small person, and anything over, you are technically not a small person. So I'm being careful with my language.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
that sounds like a question that Brian's going to find the answer to.
I was going to say we may yield to the GPT.
I think it's 4'9".
All right, there we go. So this now reads, as Scott puts it, when the part started to glow, Brian was really glad he could still see it. And now he gets it.
No.
Yeah, there's a light bulb.
Jesus is telling me, Brian, this is what I would do. We're just going to let it go.
Just let it go. Be like Elsa. Let it go.
I'm just not going to sing.
I do have Hypnojesus as a URL, by the way.
Well, you've got the beard action.
Well, if I put the hair down and it's Christmas, I'm doing one of my fasting things where I don't eat for 30 days. I can have that whole gimmick going on, That's why I got Hypnojesus.
Halloween, you could just walk around in sandals and in a robe and just be like, bless my child.
If I was religious, my ultimate job would be going to the Bible Belt and being just one of those religious preachers with the healing hand, and the demons come out. I'd love that.
That's kind of one of the jokes that I make when it's like, oh, we've got, whatever it is that I'm like, like religions have been started this way.
Oh yeah, with far less.
Yeah, it's like you convince somebody that there's something inside them that's trying to make its way out, and I'm like, wow, that is. At first, it's like miracle, and and I'm not disparaging organized religion in any way or saying that miracles don't happen, because I've seen some pretty astonishing, amazing stuff, but it's kind of like the business side of some forms of Christianity kind of makes sense.
I mean, like Jesus, he turned water into wine, right? That was the trick.
Well, like that's some David Copperfield Penn and Teller stuff.
I can get this deck of playing cards, and I can put on a table, and you can't lift them up. You can't lift them up.
Right.
If I'd done that thousands of years ago, good Lord, we could be living in a different world right now.
These are now Thor's deck of cards. You can't lift them up.
These are like, you can't lift these bad boys up when they're positioned in a certain way. Yeah.
No, that's Brian. Wait till you find out what a reverse exorcism is what Scott says. Like, it's the Scott. What you learned in prison is none of my business. No, that's. Wait, reverse exorcism. Sounds like my first marriage.
Now he's gone tilt, Scott. It means I gotta work on the interview myself now.
I'm like, it's only the hamster's falling off the wheel, folks.
Is you get your thoughts, and sometimes I teach my clients is if you've got like that anxiety force, that voice, or that judgmental, critical voice inside, you think of the person you hate most in the world. You might not have ever met them. It might even be a political figure, and you just give it to them. You just send that energy to that particular person, so that voice is now haunting that person. Is that that's like a reverse exorcism, right? You're taking something out of you, and you're putting it in someone you don't like.
I would think that the reverse exorcism would be someone trying to put something in you, and I'm like
a demon.
Yeah, I'm like, Scott, I'm not Catholic and you're not a priest.
On the internet.
We do have a question from TikTok.
Yes.
What is the most amazing transformation, Luke, that you've worked with?
Oh man, there's been so many. This is a fun one. All right, I love this story. There was this little boy that was coming to see me, and this was about 10 years ago. Basically, oh God, if I want to get it right, I think he was about 7 or 8, and he'd been circumcised or half circumcised, and he'd about a year prior to seeing me.
Half?
I'm going to get there. So, child circumcision. Generally don't let people be in the same room when someone else is being hypnotized because it might interfere with the trance. I'm like to his mum, oh yeah, you're going to stay in a room and you're going to sit in the back. Just to, because I don't want, this is an interesting subject with a young person. So yeah. You're going to sit there, you're going to observe everything for his comfort, your comfort, but you're just not to say anything. Anyways, so the boy claimed that he was in physical pain, so much physical pain, in fact, that he could. A year after the circumcision had happened, doctors had seen him, doctors had inspected him. He's fine. There's no damage. He's fine. But he said he's in so much pain he can't go to school. He'd been off school for 10 weeks, right, 2.5 months. So I said to his mums, but the doctors have checked him out. Like, yes, there's nothing wrong with him. Like, not physically, he's all right. We're taking him to a psychologist. They don't know what to do. I need him to go back to school. He's tearing my hair out. So I'm like, a psychosomatic, right? In my head, he's been checked out by the doctors. They don't know what to do. There's nothing physically wrong. Whether he's physically or psychologically feeling pain, mental, emotional, we're not sure yet. So we do the first session, and I remember something from Milton Erickson, where if he was working with young people that were peeing the bed, he would often have metaphors that would seemingly be completely unrelated. Like if a boy, I think it's in maybe My Voice Will Go With You, one of the case studies of a young boy that was peeing the bed. There was nothing physiologically wrong with him. But all Milton Erickson did was he knew the boy loved baseball. So he constructed metaphors about the baseball glove and the tightness of holding it and capturing the ball and just feeling as you could relax your grip and tighten it. And he built up these metaphors all from the boy's model of the world. Didn't do any formal sleep hypnosis with him. A week later, the boy didn't have the problem anymore. So I knew this boy liked Power Rangers. In fact, no, he liked Marvel. Right? So it's about time just before Endgame came out. So I did some work with him in the first session, and not a lot happened, to be honest. Like, not a lot got better. He came into the second session, and I only work with people, honestly, for a maximum of 3 sessions. Unless it's an ongoing coaching thing where if they've got a huge amount of weight to lose, they're not going to lose 100 pounds in 3 sessions. We need his
Right.
coaching. But pretty much everything else, within 3, they're done. Second session, he comes in, not a lot had moved, but I saw he was looking at my ring. And I don't know if you remember Infinity Wars, but Thanos, the main villain, in the Marvel movies, he had a glove, a gauntlet, and this gauntlet had different stones on it.
Oh, they're from crystals. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and each crystal, each stone represented a different power. One was creating a time, one was for spirits. But I had this on a ring that I bought off eBay because I'm a nerd for $1.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the boy looking at my ring from across, across the the office. And I said, "Oh, you're looking at this ring, aren't you?" It's like, "Yeah, is that the infinity, not gauntlet, the infinity ring?" I'm like, "Yeah, would you like?" Oh, he couldn't walk at this point. He was in a wheelchair because he refused to walk. So we
wow.
on the chair. I said, "Yeah, would you like to touch it, the ring?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, you got to do is stand up and walk." And I knew there was nothing wrong with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just had chosen to do this. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you could stand up and walk to me, you can wear it for today's session." Strong like Thanos.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally making this up, improvisation on the spot. 10 minutes later, he had walked for like 3 months. He'd walked. He had the ring on.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what,
Mm-hmm. You keep that ring.
yeah, we're almost out of time now. So maybe I should take that ring back. But I have an idea. If I were to allow you to put that ring, and you realize that with that ring comes great power, comes great responsibility, right? If you put that ring on and you leave the office, you know that makes you a superhero. And that means you will walk everywhere and you will let that pain go and you'll go back to school and you enjoy it. And if you don't do any of that, your mum will call me and I will take that ring off of you. But as long
Mm-hmm.
as you do all of those things, you can have custody of that ring until I next see you. So, see him a couple of weeks later, he's back at school. He's fully walking. He's having no more problem down below. I let him keep the ring and I bought 10 more of the same rings that cost me $1 on eBay. But no one else could help him. The surgeons, the psychologists, because they were not willing to go where he was at and notice what he was reacting to. I don't care what people say. I care about what people do, and I care how people react. And when I caught that moment of him reacting to a ring, I didn't honestly know at that point he was a big Thanos fan, but I saw him reacting to it, craft the story, link it as a solution to empower him, give him the challenge, a bit like the hero's journey. You've just got to cross the chasm.
Then you've got buy-in and action.
Yep.
And I think overall, the media that we have is really underutilized as that hook and anchor that can, pull people in and motivate them to action or motivate them to change or change the behavior, because everybody wants to be like their favorite star. Everybody wants to, oh my gosh, there's Michael Knight and he's got this cool car. Well, who doesn't want to have a cool
greatest car of all time, Kit?
Right.
Yeah.
I think you might have a little bit of a problem saying Jan Michael Vincent and Airwolf. I'd prefer the helicopter myself, but
helicopter by far, yes, absolutely, 1,000 times.
I've got a Jan Michael Vincent story for you later on, but it is quite colourful. If you want to hear it, I will
send it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, no, but Star Wars, the Marvel universe, the DC universe, Harry Potter, like, you name it. There are 1,000 stories that are out there that could be capitalized on if, like you said, we're willing to listen to what our listen with our eyes, listen to what they're doing, how they're saying it, and then matching right back up. And we talked about that actually a couple times already. We've come around to that point of, if you can speak their language, you have a connection and you can help.
Mm-hmm.
and every movie, every book, well, it can't be everything all the time. When anyone says every, right, as a definitive, we know it can't be everything. But pretty much almost every movie that you see, it comes from the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Joseph Campbell's work, whether it's a romantic movie like A Pretty Woman, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's The Matrix. Most of them will have that monolith of the hero's journey running through it. And he developed it not necessarily for movies, but for philosophical introspection of what we go through. So building sessions around the natural hero's journey, which, if memory serves me right, has 12 steps, is very powerful. And growing up and grown up much on my own, in my own imagination, I loved movies. I loved TV, American movies, American TV, and just building worlds with this. And I'm going somewhere with this. It was 25 years ago. I'm walking around Universal Studios in LA, and the girl that I was seeing at the time, we'd broken up or some shenanigans had happened. So it was the first time I'd ever gone to America. I'm like 20 at this stage. I'm walking around Universal Studios on my own as a punk kid. I'm like, how can I have fun on my own? As I'm walking around, it's like walking around in a movie, not just because of the visuals, because they're pumping the instrumental of like the Terminator. And I'm like, oh, I know I'm not in the Terminator, but I see the Terminator. And I'm just walking around with some candy floss and a Diet Coke, and I'm hearing the Terminator, right? I'm like, now I feel I'm in LA. I feel like I'm in a movie. Fast forward 20 years later, and I don't do this anymore, and maybe I should. I used to ask my clients on the intake forms, what's one of your favorite songs that inspires you? And then at the end, at the crescendo, just before I pull them out of trance at the end, I would use that song. It would be queued up on my phone as a trigger. And it sounds very cheesy, but the bloody power of their own song at that peak nearly made everyone cry, but tears of joy just by... He remembered it, and I know that song, and all of it's come together, and it inspires me. And they got this moment, very powerful moment that made it an experience. And I think we're in the business of giving people experiences, whether it be virtually or in person. It's about giving someone an experience. You can talk someone into stuff, right? But sometimes words go in one ear, out the other, right? But if you can give someone an immersive experience, it just gets into every cell of their body and is transformative.
Well, it kind of makes sense. Like, Major League Baseball, they have the walk-up songs for, the batters, or, the hype music before a hockey game or NFL football, those types of things. It's like that it kind of opens up and it builds, and then the announcer comes in, and you've got the heavy music that hits with all the bass, and everything just sounds full, and it echoes in the arena, the crowd going nuts. There's that social cue of, all right, clap, scream, yell, just applaud, make noise. And then that kind of gets the players hyped up as well.
Well, you look at the range of music that is out there. Somebody that is my age, you could pick any number of a dozen songs from the 80s, and right away it's like I'm back in high school or middle school. Same thing with movies. How many iconic themes do we have? Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Star Trek, Jaws, anything by John Williams or John Dykstra or any of those guys that have been attached to any movie. And we referenced him before, what if it was the theme to The Godfather?
Yeah,
a very different theme, right?
It's when we do stage hypnosis, we'll be more immersive. We'll play certain songs, as long as we're not sued for copyright infringement, to go with the skits that we're doing. Or we'll pump certain scents through the vents. There's certain smells they will actually be smelling. Maybe there'll be smoke. But how many of us actually do that when we do one-on-one sessions with people that are in close proximity? We're only working on one wavelength. But if we're not working on Zoom, and again, someone's in close proximity, i.e. the same office, bringing music in, bringing smells in, bringing appropriate touch in, bringing all these to make it immersive, just like we would do to coach someone to be better on stage. We could coach someone in our office, but not to perform for us, but to transform.
Mm-hmm.
Scott says some people set their playlist by their mood, and some people set their mood by the playlist. He recommends Eye of the Tiger as your alarm. I will one up you, Scott, and say that it is the last segment of Star Trek Picard when they pumped the original Next Generation theme built out like a movie theme. That to me sets my day off in the right direction. Now I don't know why that would be with a nickname like Captain. You would think that I might Eye of the Tiger, yeah, definitely. Oh gosh, there are so many songs that are similar to that.
Just for the Rocky soundtrack.
Well, yeah, any Rocky. Yeah, and again, there's a different style of soundtrack. Late 70s. That almost transition.
Even like the Top Gun stuff.
Top Gun would be another one. If you like that American kind of thing.
It works.
Think about all the TV shows, the A-Team. If that was your jam, that you want to be a freedom fighter and on the run and live that lifestyle. The Fall Guy, again, and you want to talk about the hero's journey. Here's the guy behind the guy that he makes everybody else look good. You move into the 90s and things change, and all of a sudden it's a little more soap opera like for a lot of the TV shows. The themes change, and they're the Dynasty and Dallas and all those have kind of morphed into and regressed into like teeny bopper shows. All those themes play and then they get recycled, and now if you are in the podcast world and you listen to a lot of podcasts, you find out that a lot of these stars from the late 80s, early 90s have podcasts now, and they talk all they talk about is their time on the show. Like Boy Meets World, they have podcasts, and that's all they talk about is who did what, and you remember this episode, and wildly successful. Why? Because it connects back to a root story that we watched unfold in our childhood. Or and you can say that all along. Why do certain kids like big purple dinosaurs? Well, I don't know. There was one on TV for like 10 years. Why did everybody like Mr. Rogers? Well, he was on TV for a long time, and he was very effective at what he did. He didn't pull any punches, but he was always nice about it, because he was Mr. Rogers. There was a neighborhood. Sesame Street, same thing,
No, that and that was kind of the thing. Like I even remember Mr. Rogers as a kid and how he would be like, it was like, won't you be my neighbor? Won't you be my friend? It was always appropriate and things like that. And it was like, the message was like, I want you to be happy. I want you to be successful, do great things and whatnot. But yeah, it is a way to kind of reconnect back to the youth. And so
I'm familiar with Mr. Rogers through, like growing up in England, but we didn't get the shows. It's before the internet and stuff. But I know there's been movies. I think Tom Hanks played him in a movie. Someone were him. But in England, it was a bit different. Grant will probably remember this. There was this guy, called Grant. There's called Frank Sidebottom, and all I can say is think Pee Wee Herman, but with a paper mache head, who was a punk. So I've been watching Saturday morning TV. We didn't know who Pee Wee was. This guy like Pee Wee would come on with a paper mache oversized head, just like running havoc. And he had a little puppet called Little Frank, which was a paper, 2D, with another paper mache head. And he had a puppet of another smaller one. And it was just complete anarchy for kids to watch. They'd be taking pratfalls. It was like the train had got off the tracks, but whenever you saw Frank Sidebottom, you know, shit was about to go down. It was great fun.
Yeah, I remember stuff from a kid, Paddington Bear.
Oh yeah. I used to have
With the raincoat and the yellow hat.
Yep. When you think back and you look at those stories, and on TikTok, I was reminded that we missed a major movie franchise, Jurassic Park.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, Luke, you can appreciate this. Most kids in my era watched cartoons with Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, but I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Danger Mouse and Penfold.
Fun, yeah. David Jason is one of our national treasures back in England with the voice of Danger Mouse. But yeah, early 80s, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Danger Mouse. We have we actually bought the collection for our boys.
Okay.
A great many years ago, and they wore the DVDs out, so they absolutely loved Danger. And again, it was different, right? When like Brian said, our diet was, you know, Mighty Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Bugs Bunny, and the Roadrunner, and you know, that was kind of the main staple until the early '80s, when all of a sudden you got into like G.I. Transformers, Smurfs, and you know, those major franchises.
The Chuck Jones, Tex Avery, Mont Blanc, you know, that type of stuff was, you know, it's all the Looney Tunes things.
Yep. Thundercats. Jen is saying Thundercats. How could I forget the Thundercats? Sorry, Jen.
And they've made a new He-Man movie. So when Skeletor dies at the end of He-Man in 1987, and he says, "I'll be back," he was telling the truth. We've got
40-something years later.
Leto as Skeletor. It looks fun. Yeah, He-Man. Looking forward to that.
But
I did see the previews for it. I was like, all right, it's a lot of CGI, but it's done well.
They're you know what, the movie that they did in the '80s could have used a little more CGI, I think. But they did a good job with what they had. What I like about it is that here's a movie or a cartoon franchise that a lot of kids grew up with, you know, again, and it spun off She-Ra, and you know, because you couldn't forget the girls. Jen saying, "Oh my God, there's a new He-Man movie." Yes, Jen, I think it's been out already. But Jen also said, "Yeah, She-Ra," and you know,
if it's not out yet, it just got released.
Yeah,
it's not out yet. They just released a trailer. I think it's coming out in June.
Coming out in June. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So you have this franchise that looks like it's done its thing. It sold the toys that it needed to sell, and it died, right? And then all of a sudden, it's a movie, and it kind of brings you back to your childhood a little bit. And now, like you said, there's a new movie coming out.
We rode the wave. All the kids got to about 12, 13, and then went, we like girls now. Cool. What's the next, you know, gimmick that's going to come out?
Yeah. And you know, cartoons by and large, they if you get to 3 years with any cartoon series, you're doing good, because that's kind of your cycle. After that, kids get bored, and then they'll pick up the next cartoon.
Well,
right?
and then Animaniacs came out, and it was like, okay, here's a little bit more current events that, you know, kids could identify with, and it kind of took the humor up just a little bit, but it was also because a lot of the Looney Tunes stuff, it was like, you can't show that on TV anymore, which makes it so much. And a lot of like your stereotypes and the sayings from way back when, it really kind of sparked a lot of conversations with me and my parents, where I'm like, why did they do that? And it was like, well, way back when this happened, little history lesson.
Yeah.
But then when I'd sit down and watch cartoons or when my dad would watch cartoons with us, he would be like, all right, watch this. Here's where such and such is going to happen. As far as my brother and I were concerned, my father was a Harry Potter wizard long before wizardry ever became. It was like, you're practically a fortune teller. And And my dad was like, no, I grew up on these cartoons as well. So it was really cool. Oh, the Hogwarts. It
It's
was
not
really,
one, I've never watched a Harry Potter movie, never played a game or read a book, but my girlfriend
yeah.
loved it. I got it for her for Christmas. She's playing that game. She enjoyed it.
Yeah. So it was really cool when my kids got to the age where they were kind of getting into cartoons that I got to kind of be my dad and have their appreciation. The old Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and Daffy Duck and stuff blows up in the characters' faces. But yeah, it's
Yeah. And Scott points it out here, nostalgia sells. Disney used to have a 3-season limit rule, and Gargoyles has a very long season 3 because of that rule. Absolutely. And I know cartoons that lasted 12 episodes that still have their place in. Don't worry, Becca. I've never watched all of Harry Potter either.
me neither.
Yeah,
Never watched anything of Harry Potter.
yeah.
Very aware of it. Never read the book or watched any movies or played the game.
I was more of a Lord of the Rings kind of a guy, or the Hobbit, and if they would have made a couple of other books into series, I think I probably would have been watching those as well. Jen also points out that the exception to the rule, of course, is The Simpsons, and now they have a longer lifespan if it's a more adult version of a cartoon like American Dad or those types of shows.
We have another Simpsons movie coming out this year. Second Simpsons movie.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you have all these things. We have all these, and I bring it back because we should circle back to the reason that we're here is kind of about hypnosis. To bring all
we're doing
back
past life regression right now.
We have all these stories that we can access. In many cases, those stories are how people make sense of the world that they're in.
Right.
And if we can, I don't want to say interrupt them, but if we can work with them so that they get a slightly different understanding that leads to the behavior that sets them on the path that they want to be on instead of the one that they are on, that's success.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. That's
Lord of the Rings. That's the book about walking. Yes, it is.
That's a Kevin Smith bit. Kevin Smith does the famous movie director star. He does a whole bit about Lord of the Rings. It's just about walking. He does like a 5-minute bit. It's great.
And Scott, you're actually right, because even though it's sold as 3 volumes, when J.R.R. Tolkien wrote it, it was 1 book. So when you think about that, The Hobbit was 1 book. It wasn't 3 different movies. It was, that's a lot of writing, and that's a lot of creating to make all of those characters come to life in different worlds, doing different things, and making sure that over the course of the history of Middle Earth, everything was congruent and actually fit. Like that's some phenomenal creativity and focus. So
it's kind of wild how that happens.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole form of therapy that's been out for a long time, but it never got enough mainstream movement behind it. It's called movie therapy, and essentially what it is there's a book and like an encyclopedia of every problem and a movie that deals with the problem on some way. And I think the book's called Watch These 2 movies and Call Me in the Morning, something like that. But if you've got a client that's got social anxiety, you go through this book and you find 2 movies that deal with social anxiety, and you tell them watch it from this perspective. So you set the frame. It isn't just watching a movie and eating popcorn. You're watching it from a certain perspective, and for some people, it's bloody powerful. And I don't know one form of therapy or change work that works for 100% of people all the time. But I know 1% here, 1% here, 1% here. So if we can amalgamate as much as we can in a session, so we hit, I call it the MMA, the mixed martial arts of change work. So we don't if we can't punch it out, we'll kick it out. If we can't kick it out, we'll choke it out. If we can't choke your problem out, we'll get an arm bar. If we can't get an arm bar, we'll get an ankle lock. You know, whatever we need to use in order to knock this, to slay this
and
dragon. There you go.
if all else fails, we'll kill it with fire.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
But you also bring up an interesting point, right? Is that the more tools that you have in your toolbox, the more ways there are, and the more vectors there are for you to get in, do the job, and get them on their way. You don't necessarily just learn that overnight, like we talked about. It takes time to develop. It takes time to learn. You're reading books. You're taking courses. You're looking for, hey, what's that tool that maybe somebody's doing something better than I am, that I can learn from, and then you're doing something better, so maybe there's something that you can teach other people, how you're doing it. And that's the beauty of spinning it back into community, whether you are a hypnotist, a hypnotherapist, whatever it is that you call yourself, or you're a performer, or a presenter, or you are a lecturer, whatever it is. All of those skills, when you have multiple ways to help people, it becomes so much easier to help people. If you are a one trick pony, for example, you can do one thing really well. That's good, and people would say, "Oh, yeah, that's specialization." That's a very narrow view of specialization in my mind. Specialization would be ideal. Exactly what you do. I don't believe anybody is beyond redemption. That's it. For me, I tend to, when I'm working on the therapy side, I tend to work with people who have a goal, or maybe they don't know how to set a goal, but they have an idea where they want to go. Okay, let's get you there. That's as niche down as I want to get.
And there was no greater story than the story of redemption. I used to think the story of love, but even like lost love is redemption. To me, when these movies that we see, and when we see clients, it's always about redemption. Who doesn't want love and get inspired by a redemption movie when someone has lost hope, where they have tried, they have failed, and nothing has worked, and they redeem themselves? It's an amazing story that no matter how many times we see it in different guises, a romance movie, a horror movie, an action movie, a drama, a thriller. But redemption as a storyline, there is no greater story ever.
Mm-hmm. No, and then also even on the hypnotherapy side, and this is where the hypnotherapist can be a little bit selfish, is how awesome is it, and how we talk about a career that's rewarding when you get those messages or the reviews that say, I've been off my medications for XYZ. I've quit smoking. I've lost such and such a weight. Like, I've hit my goals, and as a result, like, my life is better because you were a part of it. I mean, talk about feeling like a bit of a god. There's no pizza party that a supervisor can be like, oh, cool, or a check that someone can write is like, hey, here's a bonus thing because we sold X many widgets, or stock price went up. I mean, you brought intrinsic value to somebody, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, for sure.
Just posting in the chats.
We're getting the place your bets. So we want to have people put in the chat, is Luke a friend, or is he a frenemy? Put your guesses in the chat below, and we'll ask that question here in a couple of minutes.
We should change it to a heel or a baby face. In professional wrestling, the term heel would be the bad guy, the villain, right, and the baby face would be the good guy, would be the hero. I'm a huge wrestling fan, so.
Right. Yeah.
That's a whole nother, again, the WWF, when it was still the WWF, that was a whole nother genre of
mm-hmm.
And storylines, I should say, that you could kind of get behind. Hulk Hogan,
Ultimate Warrior, and
yeah,
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, let me see if I can do this still. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to sound like the
Ultimate
Kool-Aid man.
Warrior tattoo, right? He's my favorite wrestler growing up. So that was
Yeah.
the Ultimate Warrior's tattoo. Right
Yeah,
there.
I was he was one of my favorites.
Um,
Completely roided out.
Oh yeah, like guy was out of his
they
mind.
all were.
But
There's no
as
question.
a 10-year-old kid, that we weren't really into Marvel back in 89, 90. It wasn't such a big thing in England. But this muscled up dude with the face paint, the long hair, the tassels, the shaking, the ropes, the neon tights that would squash people in a minute by
Yeah.
pressing them above his head. Like
Mhm.
this was like one of my first. He was my second superhero after Mr. T. Mr.
Yeah.
T was my first superhero.
You had Andre the Giant and the
Yeah.
Undertaker. Oh, it was awesome. And but no, so
Yeah, we
you
have
said
a,
you said you were going, but you were going through customs and they asked you your visit and you're like, I'm going to go see John Cena. Like
Yeah.
you went to just go watch him wrestle, or you actually went to go meet him and do some
So
sort of personal interaction.
yeah, so John Cena, he had a big retirement tour last year, and
Yeah.
they messed it up. But I think he has legitimately retired.
Yeah.
But anyways, and he's a movie star. He's in legit movie, legit actual. He's in a thing called The Peacemaker on a DC character. He's a legit actor right now. So he's not one of my favorite wrestlers, but on the Mount Rushmore of biggest stars of all time, he's right up there. So we were going to go to Chicago to meet John Cena, to get a meet and greet with him, right?
Mhm.
But literally the night before, I got a gig in Buffalo. And the gig, this is a great story. You're going to love this. I think I told Brian as well. So I just started doing stage hypnosis last year, right? And because I'd always come to these conferences and people would be like, oh, you do stage? I'm like, nah, I just do therapy. But like, you need to do stage. I'm like, yeah, but I just do therapy. No, you need to do stage. I talked to Grant about it. Then finally, after 25 years, the message got through to my noggin.
Mhm.
So on one of these gig sites, I got booked to do a summer camp at 2 a.m. in Buffalo, New York. It's last minute. Like, I say to the Hypnotist, should we go? Should we drive there? It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I show up, and it's two, and I'm like, oh, my girlfriend, so my assistant is driving me. We usually film everything for insurance purposes. Is that okay?
Yeah, your liability.
Yeah, for liability, for your safety, for my safety. We're not allowed women. So that should have been red flag number one. But I didn't know what I was getting into. Long story short, she's upstairs. I show up, and there are 200 Orthodox Jews. 200 Orthodox Jews. So I show up, and I don't understand this world. They didn't preempt me. There's certain things you can say.
There was nothing inside you about this that went Mazel Tov.
Yeah, I love the Jews. The Jews love me, but I did not know what I was getting into. So I show up. I've got all my music, all my skits. I do a clean show, but I'm just about to go on like, you're not allowed.
So your concern wasn't like, oh my God, what are these people going to do to me? It's like, I am not 100% familiar with like the ins and outs and the intricacies of
I don't
their
want to
culture.
offend them.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I they're good people. I legitimately
Yeah.
don't want to do anything to upset them.
Yeah, I want to do a good job, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So now I've got like 200 Orthodox Jews around me, and they are chanting like a mob. I mean, the room was literally vibrating, and they're like,
What's the age demographic of these?
It was 13 to 16, I want to say.
So if I remember correctly, that's about that age where they kind of are able to sort of oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm mixing them up with Amish, because Amish, they have a thing where they're that age where it's like, hey, you can kind of go experience Western culture a little bit, get it out of your system, and then decide, do you want to stay within the community? But yeah, 13 to 16, you're preparing for your bat mitzvah or bar mitzvah.
Now, if I knew what I was walking into, I would have customized it. everything's fine. But my music is playing, and they're like, oh, I'm just about to go on, like, oh, do you play music? Yeah, you're not allowed to play music. You're not allowed to mention movies. You're not allowed to mention women. You're not allowed to mention the outside world. You can't say the word hypnosis. And my 90-second voiceover is almost up, and now you're live. So now my show, my 90 minutes is out of the window. I cannot use my cues because I've been paid. I want to come back, and I don't want to offend these people. I don't want a bad review. But literally, this is my second show, my second or third show ever. And I'm there. And I'm like, oh, well, it's time to sink or swim now. And I've got these, for want of a better word, these.
What would Grant Saunders do?
Looking at me, giving me the stink eye, the evil eye, making sure I don't say anything wrong. Naturally, I'll use some colourful language from time to time. I'm cutting that stuff out, and they're just evil eyeing me the whole point. And I'm just like, and suddenly I'm doing something, and then someone comes in my ear. Hypnotize him to make him believe he's this specific Jewish singer, and I don't want to mess the name up, but it's a name. It's a Yiddish name or a Hebrew name that I've never.
Yeah, you're like I'm sorry, no offense, but I cannot L'chaim this. And,
yeah, it's 2:00 in the morning, and I'm the name is here, and I'm wanting to. So I do the show, and I'm editing it, and I'm taking this out and putting this in, and it's a ruckus audience, and I'm exhausted. And we get to the end, and at the end, the elders come up to me and says, "Thank you so much. Thank you for doing such a respectful show." And then for an hour and a half, we're talking like 3:30 a.m. to 5, they would not let me leave the room. They mobbed me. It was my first time of literally feeling like a mob, like a music, a rock star. I could not move.
Yeah.
They would not let me leave the room. Hey, would hypnosis work for baseball? I'm having some problem with baseball. I'm having some problem with myself. An hour and a half, like at 3:30 a.m. and I'm doing.
I mean, you want to talk about a culture or religion that is based an awful lot on faith. You come in and you're like, okay, you can do this. Okay. And there's like, yeah, anything's possible. And the curiosity that's there is amazing.
And then the next day, went and met John Cena in Chicago. There you go.
Oh man, yeah. Chris Jones actually did
I know. I talked to him about
it.
it. Yeah, he did like a YouTube thing with him, and he said that like John Cena was like he showed up. Chris, I don't think he'll mind me saying this. He showed up and he was like, he was excited and a lot of energy. And John Cena just sat with him and just helped to calm him down, relax him, really get him into that kind of state of like, what's the deal? This is what you're going to say. This is what I'm going to say. He's like, yeah, he was so professional. He was so nice to him.
Oh,
John Cena's a bit like a robot. Like he's so well oiled. He's so
used to everybody just fawning all over him.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like, all right, here, this is fine. It's like, at least Chris wasn't crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's one of the guys that he's somebody that I think I would really enjoy having like some one-on-one time, just going like, yeah, let's collaborate on do something. That would be really cool. Because I like what he's about as far as the message that he wants to get out to his fans.
Yeah. Like I say, on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, really, it's Hogan, who I met a year before he died. Hogan was great when I met him. The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and John Cena. Now, these are not necessarily my favorite wrestlers, but on the industry, how they carried the company from millions to billions to the stock exchange. These are the 4 biggest guys of all time. So I got Hogan, I got Cena, still need to get Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I almost got The Rock. I was this close to The Rock. I was a few feet from The Rock when he came for a Black Adam preview in Toronto. But I think I might get Austin, Stone Cold next. But that Rock's going to be a tricky one.
It's like reaching out to the right people to go, hey, let's do a collaboration. Could Stone Cold get hypnotized, or could Stone Cold be like, you sit over here, teach Stone Cold how to hypnotize somebody? And so no, that's Yeah, like now I got just like a bunch of ideas going swirling around in my head, going like, all right, anything's possible now.
But now you see what I mean, right? We've been talking wrestling for about 10 minutes, and we're bringing up stories about our favorite wrestlers and whatnot. Like I know even before we got on the live, we were talking about Shawn's in Saskatchewan. How do you know where Saskatchewan is? Well, it's because we've got wrestlers that came from here, or they the Hart Foundation, Brett and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, that they were based out of Calgary, which is just one province over. But Brock Lesnar actually lives maybe 3 hours south of me. He bought some property and some land. He's got a farm in here in Saskatchewan. So it's amazing when you sit down and you look and all of a sudden this person that was on the screen or is larger than life, you find out is just a real person. And we've had that similar experience with a lot of stars. PHS, I would say. Catherine Hicklin would be a perfect example of that. She's been on soap operas, Broadway, TV shows, you name it, she's done it. And yet she's one of the nicest, most real people that you will ever find. And her husband Todd, connected with because Debbie Reynolds is mom, and Carrie Fisher is sister. Again,
and it's like they were the actors of the family, and Todd is a total
nerd.
Just movie nerd about cinema and cameras and the technical aspect of it. Which it's like just a perfect marriage of interests. And complement each other.
But again, two people that could close themselves off from other people and just do their own thing because they can, chose not to. They chose to be open and real and be friends. And it's when you get past the initial
when you got the attack,
oh my gosh, when you get past that initial starstruck, oh my gosh, this is a person, this is so and so, and you find out that people are people, regardless of who they are and where they come from. They've had their life that they've lived, and it's different than a lot of others. But when you sit down and talk to them, it is very much still a real exchange between real people. And speaking of real people, we have a debate going on here. So on TikTok,
is it a mass debate?
I
don't know. I know it's after 10 p.m., but I'm retired.
I'm just tired.
On TikTok, we're seeing frenemy. On the main chat, we're seeing friend. So we should ask the question.
Go for it, Shawn.
All right.
Oh yeah, I'll set the context.
Okay.
So Luke, it's not if it's on the table, if it's available. Okay, you are on the phone. You are ordering pizza. Shawn, the question, please.
And the question is, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Oh, this is a Jim thing, isn't it?
This is a Jim thing, yes.
Put the one up for Jim, our tribal chief, right there. R.I.P. I'm the most boring pizza guy in the world. Let me tell you, we have a thing called Pizza here in Canada, in Toronto, Ontario. I'm not sure if they have them where you are, Shawn.
Yeah, they're around.
Yeah, it's like for someone who eats New York pizza, this is not to write home about pizza. But I like my pizza like rock solid, like cardboard. Like if you drop it on the ground, it will break. It is so crisp. And I only like cheese pizza. Soon as I start putting stuff on it, it gets to be floppy. Remember like the Ninja Turtles and they had that pizza that would flop? I like my pizza boring, basic, and hard and stiff. All right, this pizza, not something else.
I was gonna say, I'm like, we're still talking about pizza, right?
So
Scott is. I can hear Scott feverishly typing on the keyboard right now.
and with his extra finger. So back to my model of the world, I ain't putting no pineapple on my. I ain't putting nothing on my pizza. It ain't just pineapple. I ain't putting nothing on it.
Your terms are acceptable.
Yes, that makes you a friend.
There you go.
I was gonna say when you started looking up and pointing, I was like, is he starting to like dodge lightning bolts or something like that? The Jim is just going to be throwing down.
Yeah. Weird shit happens to.
No, it's all good. Before we get on to our hypnosis portion of the podcast, have we missed anything that you wanted to talk about that maybe
shows coming up, websites, programs, trainings, anything that we've been putting up your social medias, websites, and stuff in the comments as we've been going.
Yeah. I often go and I give talks at conferences, and the biggest thing that people lack, including me when I began, was not they're lacking another technique, because there's a gazillion techniques out there that you can make work for you, right? But they lack the business know-how. Specifically, when you have a client on the phone, how do you get them to give you a minimum of $2,500 on one phone call? All right. So I got really good at having a screening call and getting a close rate. This is based on the last 6-7 years of, I'm really anal about this. 86.30% of people that I get on the phone would pay me $2,500. Talking $50. This is for 3 sessions, so we're not talking $50 here or there. But I got really good, and I kept getting this my own screening call questionnaire that I developed, and I kept developing it and removing questions and different iterations of it.
The screening on the website, like people would answer the questions, and then you would be like, okay, this is somebody who I need to call. This is somebody who they're going to get the polite email.
No, people can get that shit for free. If you want to be a fake client and go and see what my questions are, you get that stuff for free. But I'm talking, but when they actually get on the telephone, obviously we're talking is ethical, and we do believe that we can help them. But if they've made it to the call and we're 20 minutes in, then I believe I can help them. But I mean, in a non-salesy way, really getting people plugged into their pain and activating that deep structure. So when and I'm the most expensive hypnotist that I know in Ontario. I don't know another hypnotist that charges more than me. But people are happy to pay me from doing it. When I asked them, we felt that you understood us, that you had all these testimonials. But my question there, it's over the last 26 years, the one that I do on the phone with people. And again, it's really, really powerful. So I'm putting together a program on that where people can actually have my script, and that they'll have a workshop of me delivering it, and perhaps a recording of me doing it with a client with their client's name removed and all the personal details, so they can be led through it and hear it, and the actual script of once you've got someone into your funnel, whatever it may be, and you plug your problem into it that you specialize in, how you can close 86.330% of people that call you, and not for $50, but we're talking high ticket. So I'm putting together a program for that for hypnotists that are professionals that want to make more money and deserve to make more money for what they do, but they want to really get the right people in front of them and keep those people's feet to the fire, so to speak, and lead them on a journey where at the end they come out of the hole, they come out into the beautiful sun, but really they're not wishy-washy. What's the biggest objection we have with clients? Let me think about it. I never get someone saying no. No's okay. No just means no. It's fine, Yeah. Yes is great. It's let me get back to you. And I've erased that. There's no let me get back to you. There's no let me thinking about it. And I deal with that within the first 5 minutes of the call. And I'll teach this. This stuff's off the table. So it's a yes or it's a no. And people are shocked. Like, are you okay? Give me a yes or a no. And people are shocked when I say, are you comfortable saying no to me? Because nobody's ever said it's okay to say no. It's okay if you don't want to work with me, but just tell me no. But don't be wishy-washy. Don't say I need to think about it, because that's just a nice way of saying no. And respectfully, don't waste my time, and I'm not going to waste your time. But I do it. There's a whole 5 minutes before we even get onto the call that frames it in such a way that like, oh, it's cool for me to say no, and am I really serious about this? So
Mhm.
that's a whole program. If people are interested, they can reach out at
Are
lukegnosis.com.
you going to be presenting at any upcoming conferences or be attending or anything like that?
Yeah, so I should be at Michigan this year. I will be at the Canadian.
I hear this goofy guy's putting it on in
Oh
September.
yeah, some guy. What's his name? Pete.
Dan Goyette.
Steve, something. I think that's in September. We've got the Canadian Hypnosis Conference. I want to say in October,
Yep.
and I will, the one in the Heartland. I think I might be at Heartland in a couple of months. We're just finalizing that. And there's one in Florida, the Orlando, Florida one in May. I will either be there or there's a new one in LA that's coming out. I want to say October, November. So yeah, I'm going to be in a lot of them this year.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Circling back.
as far as shows, most of my shows they go up on my YouTube. They're generally around Toronto, but if someone's a couple hundred miles away, you know, in New York or Buffalo,
Is there a website where you actually have like, I don't want to say tour dates, but where people can say, hey, here's where you're going to be and when?
yeah, probably. You see this? If the people want to scan that T-shirt right now, they can.
Right.
Or they want to pause this video and scan it, or they could just go to Hypnosis that's on the screen, and basically that's my hub of every other website I've got is going to come off of Hypnosis.com, whether it be therapy for people, business for hypnotists, or stage shows and mentalism. Hypnosis.com is the best place to go to.
I love it.
Circling back, Scott did some research for us. He did find the it's called The Motion Picture Prescription: 200 Movies to Help You Heal Life's Problems by Gary Solomon.
There you
can
go.
get it on that Sunken Continent website, Amazon. Oh no, that's Atlantis. Okay. The Amazons, the Atlanteans, you know, I guess they were at odds. So they say. But yes, you can get it on Amazon. And, you know, again, we talked a lot tonight about those stories that kind of helped shape our lives. And if you can get in with one of those stories, and I would say Milton Erickson probably was an absolute stellar expert at doing this with his metaphors. And once he got into your, you know, not that I want to sound Star Trek-ish, but I will because I can. But once you get into your root metaphor, all kinds of things can be tweaked, affected, reframed, and you can come out on the other side going in the direction that you want to get to. So all of that said, I believe it is time for our disclaimer.
Yes, and actually, it's a good thing I ran to the mailbox. I have a ballot that I need to get down to the ballot box and hit the grocery store in the next like 25 minutes. So while you guys get the disclaimer and everything, Luke, I'm going to jump off. Thank you so much for coming on board and joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure. I do hope to see you in Michigan at least. You know, I'll see what my summer schedule permits. And yeah, Captain.
Awesome.
All right.
Until next time, sir.
Yes, in 2 weeks' time, we will see you again.
Wonderful. You guys take care and have a good night.
Thanks, Brian. Good night.
All right. We'll do that just like that. And we will start the disclaimer. And I always like the way Mike Mandel says it. Disclaimer, and then gets into this disclaimer. But the bottom line is this. If you're driving, if you're doing something that relies on focus, you know, cooking, and I actually did have that on, you know, how we would do that on TikTok, right? We'd do a quick session or whatever. And I jokingly said, and if you're cooking, you know, turn this off now. And one of the ladies said, well, it's a good thing you said that because I was just chopping vegetables. But whatever it is, if you need to focus on that, turn this off. You can always come back to this later. Because it will be on YouTube and there will be replays available as long as YouTube exists, right? And they let us keep it on there, I guess would be the other thing. But if you are going to participate, make sure you're in a comfortable spot. Make sure you set your device down away from you so that it doesn't tip over, in your lap and disrupt the process. Get yourself into a good spot where you're not going to fall over or anything like that. And Luke, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Wonderful. And if you're on YouTube watching us while you're driving, why are you watching YouTube as you're driving, you dumb idiot? Put the phone down. All right.
Never underestimate the ability to not follow the law, right?
That's right. That being said, if you just go ahead and you just focus right here on me. And what I want you to do in a moment is I want you to keep your head stock still. Do not move your head. But in a moment, I'm going to raise my hand up towards the top of the camera. As I do that, I want you to take the biggest, most powerful, strongest, deepest breath of your life into your lower stomach. You're going to roll your eyeballs back into the top of your cranium, and you're going to hold your breath for as long as you can, but not a moment longer. So it'll look a little bit like this. I'm doing a trial run now. As my hand goes up, my eyeballs roll all the way into the top of my head as I look to an imaginary window on the top of my head. And at the same time, if I was not talking, I'd hold my breath. And at some point, I'd need to breathe. And when I need to breathe, I'd simply breathe out, let my eyeballs roll forward, then close my eyes as I allow my chin and my head to drop down in a safe, comfortable manner with my mouth and jaw relaxed. So that being said, head stock still, don't move your head. Look at my hand, big deep breath in. Let your eyeballs follow my hand all the way to the top of the screen. Roll your eyeballs all the way to the top of your head. Keep staring at an imaginary window in the top of your head as you hold your breath for as long as you can, but not a moment longer. And now when you breathe out, allow your eyeballs to roll forward. Close your eyes. Keep them closed unless I specifically ask you. Otherwise, let your head drop in a comfortable, safe position. Allow your jaw to relax, to be loose, limp, and lazy like a rag doll. In a moment, not just yet, but in a moment, I'm going to count down from 3 to 0. When my count reaches 0, you're simply going to allow yourself to go even deeper than you are right now. So let's begin. 3, just allow yourself to go deeper and deeper and deeper. 2, the deeper you go, the better you feel. The better you feel, the deeper you go. 1, almost there, so close, almost there. 0, starting now. Starting right now. Every noise, every sound you hear, inside and out, are just signs, just signals for you to come back to my voice and follow my suggestions even easier. And starting right now, everything you feel inside and out of your body is just a sign, just a signal for you to focus on my voice and follow my suggestions even easier. And absolutely nothing I do or say will disturb or disrupt you in any way, shape, or form. And starting right now, every suggestion I give you, no matter how silly or strange it seems, becomes your new reflex default action. Nod your head because you understand and accept. That's right. Starting right now, every suggestion I give you from this moment forward becomes your new default setting, your new normal, your new way of being. Nod your head because you understand and accept. That's right. And starting right now, every breath you take, Every move you make, every moment that ticks by, every thought that wanders in and out of your mind, every sensation you feel on your skin, and every thought that just, that's right, inside your head are all just signs, all just signals for you to simply allow yourself to go even deeper. In a moment, not just yet, but in a moment, I'm going to count from 5 to 0. Now, the closer I get to the 0, the closer you get to the 0. And when I get to the 0, you get to the 0 and go right through it into the other side, into a place called hypnosis and trance, which is truly transformative and amazing. So let's begin our journey. 5. Getting closer and closer and closer. 4. Getting closer and closer. You have a growing sense of anticipation. You cannot wait to step through that 0 because you realize what's on the other side is an absolutely amazing experience. And you cannot wait to step through that 0 and feel just how good it feels. 3. Closer and closer. Closer and closer. 2. Closer and closer. That growing sense, that urge of anticipation is getting stronger, and you feel the excitement pulling you as you cannot wait to step through that 0. Feel just how good it feels on the other side, and you're almost there. 1. Almost there. So close. So close. Almost there. 0. Pass through the 0 now. Let it wash over you and through you, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and everywhere in between. Sinking, dropping, drifting, floating, melting, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. You are doing very good. And you'll continue to go to the right depth for you to go to today to be successful in any reason that you're watching or listening to this recording. With every word that you hear, with every sound that you hear, with every sensation on your skin, with every thought that wanders in and out of your mind, with every breath that you take and every moment that ticks by, just simply are signposts to remind you to drop deeper, to feel even better, as my voice will go with you, and you are safe, you are secure at all times. In a moment, not just yet, but in a moment, I'm going to count from 5 up to 5. And on the count of 5, I'm going to click my fingers like this, or I'm going to clap my hands like this. It's not going to trouble you. It's not going to disturb you in any way, shape, or form. But what it is going to do is work as a sign, as a signpost, as a signal to your unconscious mind to allow you to double this feeling called the hypnosis, to go even deeper to the right depth for you to be successful today for any reason you are watching and listening to this. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, doubling this feeling. When I get to 5, click my fingers or clap my hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double that sense of hypnosis. From the top of your head to the tips of your toes and everywhere in between. Sinking, dropping, drifting, floating, melting, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. That's right. You are doing excellently. I'll do it again. I'll count to 5, click my fingers or clap my hands. You're going to double this feeling, go even deeper, feel even better. Get ready to feel really good as you allow yourself to go all the way down to the right level of you for you today to be successful for any reason you're watching or listening to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double that feeling again. Hypnosis, hypnosis, hypnosis from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and everywhere in between. Sinking, dropping, drifting, floating, melting, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. That's right. You are doing very good. One more time, we're going to take the elevator all the way to the ground floor for you today to be as deep as you need to be successful in every reason you're here today, listening or watching. One more time, go all the way down to the right level for you, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double that feeling from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and everywhere in between. Sinking, dropping, drifting, floating, melting, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. That's right. You are doing excellently. And you'll continue to go to the right level for you today if you're not already there now. Your conscious mind can continue to listen to me if it chooses to, but doesn't need to pay any particular attention to anything I'm saying, because now I'm speaking to your unconscious mind. I'm speaking to your subconscious, your unconscious, your mind body right now. Part that thinks the thoughts, the part that stores the memories, the part that beats the heart, the part that breathes the lungs, the part that moves the body, the part that controls the whole endocrine system, the part that runs the show. I'm speaking to you now, the unconscious mind. And I want to thank you for all the work you've done so far with this person who's listening or watching this. Thank you for bringing them here today and having a journey to get them to where they are today in one piece. You've done your job. You've done your job well. But I know this particular person is listening or watching this recording now because they had a goal or something they want to work on. And perhaps there's something that's in the way of them achieving what it is they want to achieve. Now, I don't know what that is. How could I? I'm not even in the same room as you, and there's hundreds, maybe thousands of people that are listening to that recording, this recording, but you know what you need to work on. So whatever it is that you need to work on, whatever that particular goal is, and whatever is preventing you from achieving it, known or unknown, conscious or unconscious, I want to ask your beautiful, powerful, strong, unconscious, subconscious mind, the monkey mind, your beautiful, powerful, strong, super powerful, unconscious, subconscious mind, the part that controls everything. I want to speak to that part now. And I want you to go ahead. And I want you to eliminate that block, that barrier, whatever that thing is that's preventing this person from achieving their goal. I want you to delete it, much like deleting an old text message that you've read, you've actioned, you've understood. Now you don't need it clogging up your phone. Much like deleting an old email that you've read, you've actioned, you've understood. Doesn't need to hog up any more of your gigabytes. Much like deleting an old voicemail on your phone. And I don't know if your phone is like mine, but my phone only holds about 12 messages. Then it starts to re-record over the earliest one. So much like deleting an old voicemail that you've listened to in action and no longer need to hear it. Or you might have your very own specific way of deleting that limitation now. Whichever it is, just go ahead and delete that limitation now, unconsciously. Take all the time you need, but understand your unconscious mind does things fast, faster than you could ever imagine consciously. And at some point, you'll just know, and you might not know how you know, that this problem's gone. You'll just feel something. And when you know that it's gone, even if you don't know how you know it's gone, you just know. And I'm not talking about knowing logically. I'm talking about knowing in your body. And in absolutely no rush, allow your unconscious to do its thing. And once you have a sense, a feeling, a sensation, a knowing that this thing is dealt with, even if you don't know how, just nod your head and let yourself know. Very good. Very, very good. And now I'd like for your unconscious, your super powerful unconscious, subconscious mind now to scan the inner resources, the inner files of your mind, body system, in fact, your neurology, to find new activities, new beliefs, new emotions, new patterns, new behaviors that it can install and activate, working in the background of all of your experiences, allowing you to do the things that the old thing used to allow you to do with none of the negativity, with none of the boundaries. Find a new, perfect, beautiful pattern, behavior, emotion, or program that will allow you to do all the things, the positive things, only positive things that the old program used to, with none of the negativity. And allow that program now to become activated, much like activating a new app on your phone or a new program on your computer. Switch that on and take all the time you need to do that now. And once that's done, and only when that's done, in a moment, not just yet, but in a moment when all this work is done, and you might not know how it's done, but when all this work is done here today, and will perhaps continue as you sleep tonight or go about your day if you're listening to it earlier on. And it will be working much like a screensaver on your cell phone, much like a screensaver on your computer that you don't even realize it's working until you stop. And that picture just pops up. And it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So when you know this program has been installed and activated and you're ready to spend the rest of your day or night in a way that supports you, knowing that this work is done and allowing this resource to be activated and always working in the background of your experience, then, and only then, allow yourself to come back into your body, wiggle your fingers and toes, and when everything's done and everything's where it needs to be, then, and only then, open your eyes and feel amazing.
And as people come back into the room and into themselves, let us know how that was for you. We can't see you, so we're working on the assumption that you followed along and you've gained something here tonight, because that was phenomenal.
And your brain might feel a little bit like my snow dial right here. So there's all these little bits sort of moving around, and you might feel a bit discombobulated. There's a $20 word right there. But as you sleep, as you nap, as you go about your day tonight or tomorrow, everything and every particle will drop where it needs to go to favor this new decision, these new behaviors that have been installed and activated in your neurology for your own good and merit.
Absolutely. And a few people in the TikTok room. I see the Hypnopixie. Matt is with us, just joined in. Reem has been here for a while. Of course, we've got our Scott wants you to post the link to the book. Okay, I will do that. While we're waiting for people to let us know how things are. Hopefully, everybody's made it back into the room and into themselves. Give me just a second here. I am going to grab that link for the book, because there it is. Here we go. Oh, come back here, everybody. That's what I want. Okay. Not seeing any feedback. That's not necessarily an issue. I know the change work that you just performed in the space of, I don't know, 15-ish minutes. Those sessions are really powerful. They're really targeted, and they're really developed around the client, or in this case, our viewers looking inward at something that they want to change in themselves. And we talked a little bit about being specialists and niching down and whatnot. That's the type of change work that fits in it can't be niched down. It's meant to be like that because it's directed at the person that needs to change and wants to change. All right. Not seeing anything in either chat, and again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's maybe just means that the snow globe is it's pushing the snow around. Did the link come up for the? Let's try that again.
It didn't come up on my end, the offer the book.
Okay. Just to make sure. Oh, Becca says, thank you for the trance. I went pretty deep. That's actually not really a surprise because at 4'10", pretty much all the water is deep. And I can say that because I'm only 5'3". So I used to be 5'4.5", when I had hair. But yeah, no, it definitely is an experience. And for anybody who's watching this later on, the one thing I will say is be open to the experience. We talked about that. When you're onboarding with clients, you're looking to make sure they're actually open to the experience, and that's important. At least I can still make you laugh. So I true story. I actually did get to, back in the day. They used to have different badges for swimming and whatnot. So I made it to get the first star. I always likened it to being a general. You got my first star, and there were 5 stars, and I could have been a lifeguard. But I didn't think anybody really wanted somebody as stocky as I am to, splash into the pool and rescue them. So, and we moved, so there wasn't much point in continuing that. There wasn't really a good pool to learn from. But yeah, and I know from experience that it doesn't matter where you jump in the pool, it's always kind of deep. So Becca said she almost nodded off to sleep after. Well, it is what is it, 2, almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I think we would have forgiven you, but you can go to sleep now because I think we are about ready to wrap it up. So Brian, of course, has gone off to do his civic duty, and we will see him in a couple of weeks. Time when we return, 2nd and 4th Tuesdays. That is when we do Hypnosis Hero podcasts. So, Luke, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Captain.
Really appreciate it. I was glad to actually meet you and actually have a more in-depth conversation than passing, in the night on TikTok or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, there he is. And then, I'm off doing my own live, and then you're gone. And yeah, this was much better. And yeah, and like Brian said, at some point we'll meet up at a conference and have a beverage and all the good stuff. So all of that said, we'll see everybody in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, take care, stay well, be awesome. Have a good night, everybody.